Good afternoon, and welcome to this presentation of Major League Baseball on the Coliseum Sports Network. It is the Coliseum Baseball Tournament, and we're continuing. We have our Western Region 2-7 matchup here, a very sanctimonious, sanctified matchup, if you will, as it is the San Diego Padres taking on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. The Padres, the road team, of course, the 7th seed, and the Angels, the 2 seed out of the Western region. Oddly enough, considering the fact that there's all five California Major League teams. This is the only matchup where it is two California teams matching up, which, of course, when you only have 8 teams in a region, bound to happen, of course. So we'll get into the game here. The Padres making the short trip up to uh, Anaheim to take on the Angels, a bit of a regional rivalry between these two. And we'll be excited to see how it plays out on the field. However, the Padres have struggled coming into this game. Of course, they've had to wait while the other 3 games that we've broadcasted have been played. They've taken on some injuries. The scheduled starter for them was supposed to be Ian Kennedy, but he has a mild injury. He should be back in time for the next game. Rather, they're playing in the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket. Instead, it'll be next man up. Tyson Ross is getting the star for San Diego. However, for Los Angeles, of course, Jered Weaver, the ace on the team, he's going to get the start, no doubt about it. No worries there. And we will go ahead and give you the lineups now for the San Diego Padres. Leading off will be the shortstop, Alexi Amarista. Batting second will be the third baseman, Yangervis Solarte. Batting third will be the right fielder, Seth Smith. Batting fourth will be the catcher, Yasmani Grandal. Batting fifth will be the left fielder, Tommy Medica. Batting sixth will be the first baseman, Yonder Alonso. Batting seventh will be the designated hitter, Chris Nelson. Batting eighth will be the second baseman, Jed Jerko. And batting ninth, rounding out the lineup, center fielder, Will Venable. And it's been a very interesting season for the Padres as far as their roster makeup. They just had to put Carlos Quentin, who is usually the starting left fielder, put him on the DL. Luckily, they have been able to get Jed Jerko back, and as I said, he is batting eighth. And then, of course, the center fielder, who's usually the starter, Cameron Maben, is currently serving a 25-game suspension, but you have to work with what you have. And so the Padres will bring out the lineup that I just presented to you. Now for the team that they drove 94 miles to take on, hour and a half in light traffic, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And their lineup will be as follows. It will be Calhoun leading off and playing right field. Mike Trout batting second, playing center. Albert Pujols playing first base and batting third. Josh Hamilton playing left field and batting fourth. Eric Ibar will be playing short and batting fifth. Howie Kendrick will be the other middle infielder at second, and he'll bat sixth. Batting seventh will be the third baseman, David Freese. The designated hitter is Efren Navarro. He will bat eighth, and rounding out the lineup, the catcher, Chris Iannetta. So, as I said before, Tyson Ross against Jered Weaver. Who will win in this battle for southernmost California? We'll find out very shortly. This has been the Coliseum pregame show. We will have Coliseum baseball tournament action very shortly. Stay tuned. from the West Coast. We're in Orange County for today's tournament. It is the San Diego Padres heading up north to take on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So glad that you could join me today. Raymond Sims, fourth game of the Coliseum baseball tournament, the second game out of the Western region, and we're hoping that'll be a good one between two California teams. We're just looking to get through the season. Here's a look at the manager, Bud Black, and here's a look at his lineup once again. We talked about it in the pregame show, but just to remind you, Alexi Amarista, Jered Solarte, and Seth Smith all due up for the Friars. They'll be taking on Jered Weaver. He's been the #1 starter here in Anaheim for a while now. Went 11-8 with a 3.27 ERA in 2013, and he's been doing pretty good in 2014 as well. Partly cloudy skies. There's been rain in the forecast, scattered in the area, but for the most part, it's been a beautiful day here in California. But what else is new? We'll actually play some baseball here. Here's Alexi Amarista leading off for the Padres. First pitch from Weaver, four-seamer in there for strike one, and we are underway. Here's the 0-1 from Weaver. And Amarista will take that one as well for strike two. So Weaver off to a strong start against the speedy shortstop leading off today. 3 home runs, 19 RBIs, and a .230 average for Amarista. Kicking delivery from Weaver, and that one low out of the zone, hit by Amarista anyways, and the play made 6-3 to get him out, and that's how we'll start things off. And speaking of the defense, just making a good play. You see Ibar to Pujols on the screen. Here's a look at the rest of the defensive lineup presented by Majestic. And here is Jered Solarte, the starting third baseman. He came in the other direction from the Yankees in that Chase Headley trade that happened about a week ago. First pitch to him is a ball inside as Weaver looks to establish the inner half of the plate. Solarte really got things going when he debuted back in April. Then the production started to slow a bit, but he was still looked at as a top up-and-coming prospect in the Yankee system. He flies out to right on this one, and we'll talk more about him later when he returns to the plate. But for now, it's 2 outs off of the F9. We'll take a look at it again on replay. Not much that Calhoun had to do. Had to make sure he moved over and got in the right spot. Very good fielding. Here's the right fielder for the Padres, Seth Smith. Stepping up to the plate, going to see if he can keep this inning alive. Give the Padres a chance at some offense here in the bottom of the first. First pitch he sees, he swings at, rounded up, and thrown out, freeze to Pujols. So 3 up and 3 down here in the top of the first inning. The Angels will get their first chance up at the plate right after this. Welcome back to Anaheim. Mike Social, longtime manager of these Angels, and this is the lineup he's bringing out for their first game of the Coliseum baseball tournament. Cole Calhoun will lead off, and we'll see him shortly. Then Mike Trout and Albert Pujols, 2 dangerous hitters. Tyson Ross will be tasked with retiring them. 3-8 in 2013, and now he's moved into the #2 starter spot. He's filling in for Ian Kennedy, who just suffered a mild injury a couple days ago. Getting his final pitch in here. And they're going to throw around the horn, so we're about ready for Angels baseball. But as they wrap that up, here's a look at the Padres defensive lineup presented by Majestic. Ross to Grandal will be the battery for today. And here is Cole Calhoun, 282 in 2013. He's going to look to put the Angels on the board early on. First pitch from Ross, a four-seamer in there for a strike. Tyson Ross, a very talented pitcher, but he just finds himself on a team that's developing, trying to figure itself out. So you might have to excuse the win-loss record as Calhoun fouls us off. As you saw on the graphic, he went 3 for 8 in 2013. In 2014, he's 9-10 on the year as the team's number 2 starter, but he does have a 2.65 ERA. Calhoun swings and misses. First batter he faces. Reserved pitching delivery. In slow motion, it just looks like a softball toss, but very effective as it sits down Cole Calhoun. And now for the bigger challenge, the All-Star, Mike Trout. First pitch, a slider finds its way under the zone for ball 1. Mike Trout, 100 games into the Major League season, 24 home runs, 76 average. Second slider does get inch his way into the zone, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike here to Mike Trout. Swing and a miss. Going to be quite the challenge. I understand I'm being obvious here. Going to be quite the challenge to get out Mike Trout and to limit his effectiveness. Like a lot of star athletes, you're probably not going to shut out a hitter like Mike Trout very easily. Tyson Ross taking the approach of pitching around. Count tied up 2-2. Can he retire him on this pitch? Out. And you also have to think about how he just challenged Calhoun in relation to how he's challenging Trout. All breaking balls so far here against Mike, as opposed to some fastballs against Cole. At 1 low, Trout swings at it anyways, rounded up, and the out is made for 3. The connection from Jerko, who just came off of the DL, to Yonder Alonso. Jered Jerko, happy to be back. And here is Albert Pujols. Looking to prevent a 3-up, 3-down inning here against Tyson Ross. Swings on the first pitch he sees, and just like the end of the last inning, it's going to be 5-3 Solarte to Alonso to close out the inning. 3 up and 3 down. Are we on the verge of a pitcher's duel? We'll find out. 2 up. Welcome back to Southern California. The Angels and the Padres just getting started here. Scoreless, 3 up, 3 down. Yasmani Grandal will look to lead things off and change that here in this half inning. First pitch from Weaver. Keep the bat on his shoulder for strike 1. Yasmani was one of the players caught up in the biogenesis scandal last year, but he served his time. He's back this season. He's been a great catcher this year. He's been very good at calling games. But on the year, he struggled with hitting for sure. 9 home runs, 24 RBIs in 79 games. He's only batting .210, but that is not an anomaly because a lot of the Padres are just struggling with their hitting right now. Grandal had to move out of the way on that pitch, so he stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2, has to move out of the way again. That one barely gets to the glove of Iannetta before hitting the ground. So Jered Weaver gets to the number 4 hitter in the Padres lineup. He finds himself in a little bit of trouble tying the count back up after being ahead 0-2. Can he change that here? This one popped up in the air, veering over to left, and the out is made by Hamilton. So Weaver found himself ahead in the count, then tied it up. Looked like there was a little trouble there, but he does get Brandall to fly out, and that's how we'll start off the top of the second inning. Here is Tommy Medica. He's starting in left field today. He's a very versatile player, very good utility man. So he's in left field today with the absence of Carlos Quinton, who went on the DL. There's a couple of other possible fielders. You have Chris DeNorfia, Jeff Francoeur, who's also very useful, but both of them kind of struggling with hitting right now. Bud Black just feels that Tommy Medica will give the team the better chance for the victory and more versatility out in the left field. For now, though, he has to try to get on base. Neither team has gotten a hit just yet as he fouls one down the line. No balls and 2 strikes for Tommy Medica. Weaver going to try to put him away. That one inside, and the ump is going to call that a strike. Medica frozen on the inside pitch, and he goes down. Look at it again here. Inside, right along the edge of the plate, Jered Weaver. He's a very good pitcher. You can see why right there. Here's Yonder Alonso starting at first today. First pitch to him at the knees, a 2-seamer for ball 1. Yonder Alonso, 216. Like I said before, the Padres have just been struggling as a team in terms of hitting. Let's see if they can change that here in the tournament. But since it's a team issue, Yonder Alonso not alone with his 216. He's facing a 2-0 count, though, so it's in his favor. And he does swing on the 2-0. Misses the 4-seamer for strike 1. One in the dirt, so now he's behind on the 3-1 count. If Alonso's able to reach, Chris Nelson will be next to follow. Swung on and missed. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count here. Here's the payoff pitch. This one hit in play, rounded up by Kendrick, and an easy out. So that's the second consecutive inning of hitless work here for Jered Weaver. Still scoreless heading into the bottom of the second. The big bats keep coming here for the Angels in their lineup. Trout and Pujols went down in the bottom of the first inning. So here's Josh Hamilton. Bud Black looks like he's going to put on a shift here for Hamilton. We'll see how well that works. First pitch from Ross. Slider finds its way in there. Outfield shifted to the right. Counteract Hamilton's tendency to pull. Hit this one in the air and a diving stop. But the out not made in time. So a good diving stop to keep that from turning into extra bases. However, it's not enough. Hamilton legs out a base hit. Here's Eric Ibar, as we now have our first hit of the game. Let's see if Ibar can. Bottom of the second, Hamilton on first, our first hit of the game. And here's the first pitch from Ross. That one in there. So Bud Black on the shift and ended up going the opposite direction. And it took a good enough angle that Hamilton was able to get to first. Bunt laid down by Ibar. Rolls fair. Hamilton's at second in time. Ibar's at first in time, and he legs out a bunt single. Look at this on replay. Very good bunt. Strong speed shown by Ibar, and the Angels are advancing. So here is Howie Kendrick now with a runner in scoring position and Ibar at first. First pitch right down the middle. Tyson Ross bowled on the first pitch, but Kendrick doesn't swing, doesn't take advantage, and it's a 0-1 count. You see the speed first base inset presented by MLB 14 show as the four-seamer this time under the zone for ball one. Of course, those speed and steal statistics not particularly useful right now with Hamilton at first, unless Social gets bold and decides to employ a double steal. But we'll see what happens here. Here's the 1-1. Kendrick reaches at it, picked up by Amarista. 6-4-3 gets, or still at third. So we'll take a look at that good defense. Amarista able to make the play in time and made that diving stop on the Hamilton hit. Just couldn't get it to first in time as Hamilton was able to rush that one out. So now he's moved his way along to third, but now the bases are a little more clear. Can David Freese, the third baseman, bring home his teammate, who's currently at third base? 2 out, 1 on, and the first pitch from Ross is a ball. Freese smacks the 1-0, traveling into the air, and that's a souvenir. Freese fouls off another one. Freese making contact, just looking to put something in play. Freese patient. Takes the inside pitch, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the 2-2 from Ross. That one inside actually ties up Freese, but again, he's able to get contact and foul it off, so he'll stay alive. Freese proven to be a tough out here for Tyson Ross. Here's the runs full. If Freese reaches, Efren Navarro coming up next. But that is an if. It's a full count here to David Freese. Ross looking to close out the inning without giving up a run. Here's the payoff pitch. Freese fouling it off. A 3-2 again. And that one low ties them up. And the Angels will come up empty-handed. Thing of it, it's still scoreless heading into the top of the third. Welcome back to Anaheim. Designated hitter time as we're in an AL park, and here is Chris Nelson. He's been getting a few starts at third base and some other places in the infield. Very good utility man. A lot of versatility on this roster, and you have to, considering what's going on in terms of their offense and their record. But he's the DH today, and the first pitch he sees, he fouls off. Swing and a miss on the 0-1. Breaking ball caught him up. 0-2 count. Here's the 0. Slider finds himself in the dirt, bounces into Ionetta's glove. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Chris Nelson, former high school teammate of Brandon Phillips from the Atlanta area, takes a changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's a high school All-American. In terms of his stats, he's actually been around the major leagues for a while. As a bit of a journeyman, he hits this one down the line, and Pujols able to make the easy out unassisted. So there's the first out for you of the inning, and here is Jered Weaver. Weaver back in the lineup after being on the disabled list. Check swing on it, still a strike. But it seems like whenever the Padres get 1 man back, another 2 go on the DL. And like I said before, you got Carlos Quentin, who goes into the DL while Jerko comes back up. And you have Ian Kennedy, who's injured as well, who didn't start in this game. So the issues have been mounting for the Padres all season in terms of hitting and health. 1-2 count here to Jed. He's only played 57 games this year, batting .164. Here comes the 1-2. Fouls off that one. Comes the 1-2 again. And he will go down on strikes, swinging. And that's out number 2. Here is Will Venable, number 9 man in the lineup. Jered Weaver looking to close out the inning and to get through the entire Padre lineup without giving up a hit. We'll see if Venable will have any of it. Here comes the first pitch to him. Swung on and missed. Will Venable, still a very good player. He brings a bit of a change to the lineup. There aren't a lot of left-handers in the lineup. 2-seamer outside half of the plate for strike 2. Will is hitting .210 so far this season. Only 3 home runs and 17 RBIs. Can he bring out the power, though, against Jered Weaver? He'll take the curveball inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Will Venable. And here's the 1-2. Gets a good piece of it, fouls it off, and stays alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Will Venable, a lifelong Padre. He goes down on strikes. This one's a backwards K. And Weaver does get through the entire Padre lineup without giving up a hit. So we'll head into the bottom of the 3rd. Angels looking to get some runs on the board. The Angels also open up the inning with their designated hitter. Here's Efren Navarro. First pitch at the knees for strike 1. Oh, 1, very high. Probably the highest pitch we've seen today. 1 ball, 1 strike. Efren Navarro, a UNLV running rebel. Played there in his college days. Swings and misses on the 4-seamer here. Now he's down to his own last strike. Made his debut back in 2011. He's been up and down between here in Salt Lake City, the AAA affiliate, just coming in spot time whenever needed. He's played 70 games so far this year. He played 4 for the Major League club in 2013. So he's just trying to contribute when he can. He hits this one to Solarte. Should be an easy out. It is. And that's how we'll start off the bottom of the third. And here is the catcher, Chris Iannetta, to round out the Angels lineup. Chris Iannetta, a veteran catcher, platooning with another veteran catcher in Hank Conger. Here's the first ball, 1. Sometimes when you think about it, it's a coin flip between whether or not it's going to be Iannetta or Conger getting either. So we'll probably see Hank get a start as long as their run lasts. Tyson Ross has only given up 2 hits so far in this game, looking to close out this inning here by retiring Iannetta and then Calhoun, who will be due up. He's behind in the count, though, 2 balls and 1 strike. Two 1. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And this one, hit and play, drops down the first base line and hits up against the wall. This could be extra bases. Iannetta chugging for it and is able to slide into second for a base hit. An extra base hit at that. A 1-out double by Chris Iannetta, and he had to truck. He is not the fastest man in the world, but he gets there in time, and you gotta love the hustle from the catcher, Chris Iannetta. So that means that Cole Calhoun comes up to the plate with a runner in scoring position and an opportunity for the Angels to get on the board here for the home crowd. 1 out, 1 on at second, and a scoreless game from Anaheim. First pitch, a sizzler on the outside half, and that's strike 1. Calhoun struck out his last time up. He does not want to do that again. And this one hit right up the middle, just rolling on the grass. Should be enough for Iannetta. He's coming home. Will we have a play at the plate? We don't, as the throw back into the infield is well offline. So an RBI by Cole Calhoun. So he definitely makes up for the strikeout. We'll see if the hit parade can continue with Mike Trout. He grounded out his last time up. 1-0 here from Anaheim. Cole Calhoun on first. Mike Trout going to see if he can put on some more. Trout fouls off the 0-1 pitch, and now he's in the hole. No balls, 2 strikes. If Trout cannot do it, we still have Pujols, who's due up next.
No, that
That slider finds its way on the outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And a check swing, and that is a strikeout. So Tyson Ross sends Mike Trout packing. It was a ground out in the first, and it's a strikeout. You can see here on show motion. So far a good day for Tyson Ross against Mike Trout. Ross was able to his last time up. So we'll see if he can do it again here. And he cannot. This one driving over to the right field side. Calhoun is turning the corner. He's coming home, and the Padres outfield will not even try. Got the ball to the cutoff man, and that was it. So in comes Cole Calhoun, and it is now 2-0 in favor of the Angels. Pitching coach talking with Tyson Ross. We'll see if that has an effect. But in the meantime, the Angels are now ahead 2-0 here in the third inning as Josh Hamilton comes up to the plate. He's going to see if he can bring in some offense. By the way, an RBI double by Pujols. He's standing across from us here on our screen. In scoring position, also looking to come home. Can Hamilton help him out? He can. That one will drop into left center field. Pujols legging it out. He's coming home, and it's an RBI double once again. So it is now 3-0 in favor of the Angels. Home crowd getting the offense going. Or the home team, rather. But the home crowd very much pleased with it. And here's Eric Ibar. Can he keep the hit parade going? Fouls one off. So after a Efrain Navarro ground out, we had a double by Iannetta, an RBI single by Cole Calhoun. And after the Trout strikeout, you have 2 consecutive RBI doubles by Albert Pujols and Josh Hamilton. Tyson Ross in trouble here. It was a decent enough start. He went 3 up, 3 down in the first. Only gave up 2 hits in the second, but he's given up 3 runs here in the third. And Jerko able to throw it to first in time and get the out. So the Angels come up with 3 runs and are ahead. So now the Padres have a chance to strike.
Leading off for San Diego, shortstop,
None of the Padres hitters have been able to get a hit in these first 3 innings against Jered Weaver. We'll see if the fortunes can change here in the fourth. Here is Alexi Amarista. First pitch, a 4-seamer outside, and Amarista takes it for ball 1. This 4-seamer low this time for ball 2. After this game, the Padres and Angels will go on their separate ways to take on whoever is the winner or loser of the Twins-Dodger matchup, which will be coming later this week. The next game up is back in the Eastern region, the Chicago White Sox heading to the nation's capital to take on the Nationals. Chris Hale against Steven Strasburg. That is going to be a lot of fun, and we'll hope you tune in. Amarista hitting this one, and Kendrick able to make the easy out, even if the throw was a bit high, but nevertheless, still 4-3, still 1 out for the Padres in the top of the 4th. And here is Jered Weaver once again. Solarte is one of the more interesting names in baseball. And again, the Padres seem to have more interesting names per capita than your average team. When you look at names such as, well, Alexi Amarista, Jered Solarte, Odrisamer Despaigne. For a while, the Yankees, when he was playing with them, put his name down in the pronunciation guide as Youngurvis. But we've since come to find out that the G, in a way, it kind of sounds like a H sound or a Y sound for some. So we are glad that that has been worked out, because you never want to your name to be mispronounced. He's behind in the count, though. Solarte is 0-2 to Jered Weaver. Weaver looking to close him out on this pitch. Ties him up and fouled off. Very good crowd here in Anaheim on a beautiful day. You may see some green seats out there in the outfield, but at least over here on this side behind the plate, it's filling in very, very nicely. Solarte keeping alive, fouling off again. Here comes the 0-2. And tied up on the defensive swing. And there's another strikeout for Jered Weaver. That is number 4 today for JW. And that's 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning. So the Angels ace going to work here. Next up is Seth Smith, the right fielder. Grounded out to third his last time out. Going to look to get the first hit here for the Padres in this game. Curveball breaks and drops into the zone for strike 1. 0-1 swung on, hit down the right field side and bounces over the fence. Over the short fence over there and right, so that'll be enough for a ground rule double. Take a look at this again. Maybe some good distance down the line and finds a home in the stands. We'll see if any of the Angels fans actually keep it. It's not a home run ball, but it's still a ball into the stands from a rival team. But in the meantime, Smith on with a double, and here's Yasmani Grandal. Flew out to left his last time up, so he showed some opposite field power. We'll see if he does it again, and if the ball this time will land in play. Could be good enough to bring Seth Smith home and put the Padres on the board. 0-1 count, man on second, 3-0 Angels as they exploded in the previous half inning. This one drops into center field, and that will be enough for Smith to come home. He slides home, and it is now 3-1. So the Padres back into it, cutting the deficit to 2 runs off the RBI single by Yasmani Grandal. Also of note, as Tommy Medica, the left fielder, comes up to the plate. The no-hitter broken up off of that ground rule double by Seth Smith, who's now come home. Pitch well inside for Medica. Ball 1. Grandal on first. Medica hits this one left center field, carrying it, drops, hits up against the wall. That'll be enough for an extra base for Medica, and Grandal will come home from first. 3-2 now. So the Padres in the business of striking back. Team batting average be darned. The Padres trying to leg this one out as they are back within 1 run as Yonder Alonso will step up to the plate. 3-2 the score with the man on first and 2 out, or man on second rather, and 2 out. Just like we saw with Medica, you put a ball in the right place that will give his teammate, the runner, room to come home. And this one hit right to Weaver, able to pick it up in time and get the out at first. So able to close it out before the Padres can tie it up, but the Padres do pick up 2 runs and 3 hits in the top of the 4th. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Angels leading 3-2. Welcome back to Anaheim. Howie Kendrick up for the second time today. He grounded into a double play his last time up. Tyson Ross going to look to recover from that third inning where he gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. First pitch he throws at Kendrick is a strike. Here comes the 0-1. This one fouled off into the crowd. Oh, 2 for Kendrick ties him up, and he strikes out on 3 pitches. Take a look at it on Show's track. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, all of them low. Heck, the third one is low and out. Inside, rather. But all the same, it sits Kendrick down. That is the 4th strikeout for Tyson Ross. And here is David Freese, the third baseman, with 1 out and no one on. Change up in the dirt is ball 1. Freese hits this one down the line, just foul. Freese takes a 4-seamer inside. 2 balls, 1 strike from Tyson Ross to David Freese, the former St. Louis Cardinal. Swings on the 2-1, but lines out to Amarista. He has been making some heads-up plays all game over there on defense. So what looked like it would have been a clear base hit, Amarista on the case, able to get out number 2. Here's the designated hitter once again, Efrain Navarro. He was here to lead off the 3rd inning, and now he's back up. He grounded out his last time up, missed out on the hit parade. Going to see if he can contribute offensively. His team is ahead 3-2 with 2 out and no one on base in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch he takes is a strike. This pitch a 2-seamer high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the 1-1. This one popped up into the air. Playable, that's for sure. And the out easily made by Medica. That will do it for the 4th inning. No hits this time after the offensive explosion in the 3rd. Let's head to the top of the 5th. Nelson, Jerko, and Venable all duo. Welcome back. This battle of Southern California teams. Chris Nelson stepping up to the plate to lead off the top of the 5th. First pitch to him inside, a 4-seamer. Nelson swings on the 0-1, and that's going to be a souvenir for an Angels fan. The Angels fans have, of course, turned out in droves here. We have a very good crowd. Not that many Padres fans, exactly. They're sprinkled through the crowd here and there, but of course you aren't going to find as many one on the road, even if it is in Southern California, and with a team that's been struggling as much as the Padres have. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Chris Nelson. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball dropped in, and Nelson was able to foul it off and stay alive. The shadows are coming in actually pretty early in this game. An afternoon start and already looking like evening for what has been a pretty quick game, actually. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Chris Nelson, looking to stay alive. He was out on a Pujols unassisted putout, and he hangs in there long enough that he runs the count full. Will Nelson be able to break the ace, Jered Weaver? Pitch inside, and that is a walk to Chris Nelson. So Weaver gives up 2 runs in the 4th inning and then leads off the 5th inning with a walk. And here's Jed Jerko. He struck out back in the 3rd inning, but he's going to see if he can contribute and possibly tie up this game. If he can hit it well enough and possibly bring Nelson home from first. We saw it happen with Grandal back in the 4th. He got on base with a single, and then that RBI double by Tommy Medica brought Grandal all the way home, and without even a challenge throw by the outfield. The 1-0. Oh, and Jerko had to fall out of the way on that one. He just came off of the on. Goodness, what a throw there by Weaver. We'll see if he can regain control here. He's behind in the count, 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the throw. At 1 of 4 seam. Looked in there, it is 2 balls, 1 strike. Nelson on first. You could see him in the first base inset with the speed and steal stats for him presented by MLB 14 The Show. And here's the 2-1. Drops and lined out to Jered Weaver. So after surrendering a walk, Jered Weaver with enough heads up to get the out. You can see it from a couple of different angles here. Great job by Weaver to get out number 1 for the inning. Here is Will Venable, center fielder, to close out the lineup for the 2nd time today. Chris Nelson waiting on first as that one's in the dirt, but trapped by Iannetta. 1 out, man on first. Venable looking to advance Chris Nelson. He will take a changeup in the outside part of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1, and this one fouled off into the air. Will Venable, the Ivy Leaguer from San Rafael, on the other side of the state up north. This one's hit down the line. Went to school at Princeton. Majored in anthropology, but he's been able to make his hay in baseball. But we'll see what happens once Will Venable is done with his career. He hits this one right past Kendrick, and that will be a base hit for Will Venable, and it will advance Nelson to 2nd. So with 1 out, Will Venable is on after striking out looking back in the 3rd inning. Padres looking to tie things up here and maybe even more. Here's Alexi Amarista as we restart the lineup. He has Chris Nelson on 2nd, and he has Will Venable on 1st. Some action in the Angels bullpen as the Padres were about to employ the hit and run, but Amarista fouls it off. See if the Padres go for it again. Looking to advance on base. They will not go. Amaristo will take a changeup. One fouled down the first base line. One-two, fouls that off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 Padres on base. And the Padres behind by 1. Amarista will go down on strikes looking. So that's 2 outs. That makes the situation a lot more interesting. Take a look at the show track to recap the at-bat. Amarista was hanging in there, but it was that 4th pitch there, low and in the zone, that was Amarista's undoing. And here's Jered Weaver back up at the plate. He struck out his last time up, flew out to right the first time, back in the first inning. Now he has a bigger task here. He will be looked at to bring home Chris Nelson, who's standing at second. At least you got Venable at first. Have 2 outs in an 0-1 count. Four-seamer taken outside. You can look at Jered Weaver's pitch distribution. Mostly strikes. Not afraid to put him in the zone. He's been fooling Padre hitters at times as well. Here is pitch number 80 after a look at second base. That one high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Two one, fouled off. And 2-2 once again fouled off. Solarte down to his last strike, but hangs on just long enough, and the count runs full. Good determination shown here by Jered. Runners going as Solarte fouled that off. Here's the payoff pitch again. Runners going, of course. They'll have to keep on going over to the next base. As Solarte shows discipline and determination and is able to draw a walk. That's the second walk given up in this inning by Jered Weaver. And it seems like it's spelling trouble here for the Angels. But Weaver will look to get Seth Smith out and get rid of all this noise. Bases loaded situation for Seth Smith. The first pitch to him is a strike. Oh, 1 on the changeup outside.
Let's get out of this inning.
The 1-1 breaks into the zone and Smith fouls it off. The count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Four-seamer high up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Seth Smith at risk of leaving 3 runners stranded. Can Seth Smith pull through? No, sir. Strikeout closes out the inning. Weaver gets out of the jam, and the Padres leave 3 runners on base. It's 3-2 heading into the bottom of the 5th. Here's Chris Iannetta up at the plate, here to start off the 5th inning. Iannetta doubled his last time up. He was the first Angel to come home to start off that offensive blast in the 3rd inning. Can he repeat it with Tyson Ross still up at the mound? Iannetta swings and misses on the slider. No balls, 2 strikes. Oh, 2 fouled off by Iannetta. We've seen our fair share of fastballs, and then we've seen our share of sliders. And they've both been relatively successful outside of the 3rd inning there, when several of the Angels were able to find their bat. Like I said, Iannetta doubled back in the 3rd inning, so we'll see if he can do it again here, but he's facing a 1-2 count, and here's the delivery from Ross. Fouls it off again. Iannetta staying alive. The shadows covering more and more of Angel Stadium as the sun goes down. Iannetta takes the pitch, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Looking more and more like a night game as the game goes on. And that fastball in there, slight break, but a strikeout in the end. Iannetta not happy pleading his case, but it's pretty obvious it was in there. Iannetta got fooled. So that will do it for the lineup for the 2nd time. We will restart it, and here is Cole Calhoun. Tyson Ross now up to 5 strikeouts. He's going to look for number 6 here against Calhoun, who is actually Ross's first strikeout victim in this game, way back in the 1st. Here's the 1-0. And Calhoun gets this one up in the air, traveling to left. Medica chasing it down just in front of the warning track, and he gets out number 2. A very loud F7. It will keep the Angels hitless here in the 5th inning. Here's Mike Trout. He grounded out back in the 1st and struck out in the 3rd. Tyson Ross has done a good job handling the superstar so far this afternoon. Let's see if he can continue on the 3rd at bat. First pitch. 4-seamer very high. This one a little more in the zone, and it gets past Trout, 94 miles per hour, 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1. And this one hit right down the line, so Trout is on with at least a 1-base hit. Yep, it will be a single, but it's still the first hit of the game for Mike Trout, and it will keep the 5th inning alive. Here's Albert Pujols up at the plate. Doubled his last time up, an RBI double. Angels still leading 3-2. Going to look to add another run or two.
0-1.
Four-seamer in there for strike one. Oh, 1 jams Pujols. No balls, 2 strikes. Pujols already a strike away from being retired. Runners going here, and Trout stealing second successfully. Trout is able to move into scoring position. We'll see if Pujols can help him out. Let's take a look at this on replay. Trout just got an outstanding jump on the pitch there against Ross. So 1-2 count and a runner now on second. It will be all for naught as Pujols strikes out for the first time today. That is number 6 for Tyson Ross. Yasmani Grandal was the first Padre to bat in a run back in the 4th inning. He's going to look to do it again here in the 6th inning. First pitch he sees, he hits. Rounded up by Freeze, and that's an easy put out for out number 1. Jered Weaver, as you see his pitch count, he's nearing 100, but he's been looking pretty good so far outside of giving up 2 runs back in the 4th. Here's Tommy Medica, fill-in left fielder, back up at the plate. He swings at the first pitch as he sees and fouls it off. He'll pop up the 0-1 into the air, and that one's just going to veer off. Good distance, wrong direction. No balls, 2 strikes as Jered Weaver's at 93 on his pitches, and he's only thrown 28 balls. You make that 29, 1 ball, 2 strikes. That pitch taken, and there is a strikeout. Another one for Jered Weaver. We've seen our fair share of Ks for both pitchers on the mound. And that's out number 2. That is the 4th strikeout looking by the Padres, by Jered Weaver. He's done a very good job at making these hitters look foolish, to be quite frank with you. And Yonder Alonso's up at the plate now, looking to see if he can keep the inning alive. Slider finds its way in the dirt before it finds its way into the glove of Chris Iannetta. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 fouled off. Cameraman couldn't quite see where it went, but it does land right up behind the backstop. So now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. To Alonso, swing and a miss. 2 straight strikeouts to close out the inning. Backwards K followed by a forwards K, but it leaves the Padres empty-handed heading into the bottom of the 6th. Josh Hamilton coming up to the plate. He has not had any trouble up at the plate today. He singled in the 2nd and he doubled in the 3rd. Just a shame, though, that he's been left stranded on base both times. 4-seamer, low, but in the middle part of the plate for strike 1. Here's the 0-1, traveling in the air to left field. Medica thinks he has a beat on it. He does at the warning track. Medica had to chase that one down, and that's the first time that Hamilton will have to make his way back to the dugout. Here is the shortstop, Eric Ibar. He singled back in the second. We'll take a pitch inside the four-seamer, 1 ball, no strikes. We just saw his pitch count heading into his 6th inning of work, or at least going through it, 5 1/3. He's at 76 compared to Jered Weaver, who's in the 90s. And this one will drop into the glove of Smith for out number 2. So 2 up and 2 down, and that'll bring up Howie Kendrick, who himself is 0 for 2 today, including a strikeout. Can he get some offense going? Can he keep the inning alive? 2 out and none on. Nice ball taken for ball 1. Kendrick swings on the 1-0, and that is foul. Bounce is just foul. But the count now tied up, 1 ball, 1 strike. That slider just outside of the zone, 2-1. And the four-seamer in the dirt, just under the zone. If Kendrick can get on base, Freeze will be due up next. David Freeze also 0 for 2 today. And this one hit right over Solarte and into left for a base hit. And that will keep the inning alive by Howie Kendrick. Kendrick on with a single. As the Angels are looking to put some more runs on the board. They scored 3 in the 3rd, then gave up 2 in the next half inning. So they're just going to see if they can get a little more insurance for Jered Weaver, as well as whoever else makes their way up to the mound. Here's David Freeze. He'll swing at the first pitch he sees, and it lines out to Yonder Alonso. So he lines out to Solarte, out to Alonso to end the Welcome back to Anaheim. The Los Angeles Angels hosting this Coliseum baseball tournament game. Here's a look at the game summary. As you see, there was some offense in the bottom of the 3rd and the top of the 4th, but that's it so far. Jered Weaver back up on the mound, and Chris Nelson returning after walking back in the 5th inning. Joe Smith currently in the bullpen. Fernando Salas was there for a while back in the 4th when it looked like Weaver was in huge trouble, but he's recovered immensely from that. First pitch by Weaver, and therefore a strike. Just threw his 100th pitch. Here's 1-0-1. Breaking ball. Hit weakly by Nelson, collected up, and he bumbles it. And so not able to make what is usually a routine play at first. So we'll see if that's an E1. But we do know for sure that the day is done for Jered Weaver as he throws his 101st pitch and gives up a base to Chris Nelson for the 2nd time today. So you have to appreciate the work that Jered Weaver did. He was able to handle most of the Padres hitting and only give up 2 runs. So now it's up to the lefty Joe Thatcher to put things away here for the Angels in the final 3rd of this game. Here's Jed Jerko. He's 0 for 2. And just like he did in the 5th, he has Chris Nelson waiting on first to advance. Just for the sake of record keeping, that is an E1 on Jered Weaver. Not the best way to go out here, especially as Jerko knocks this one to left field. Hamilton's under it, though, and that will force Nelson back to first. So, out number 1. Here is Will Venable back up at the plate. As you can see, Salas is back in the bullpen. As Venable takes the 2-seamer right over the plate and in the middle. No balls and 1 strike. That slider just a bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Another slider outside of the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike here. 4 pitches in for Joe Thatcher. As I said before, these two teams will split off and take on either Minnesota or the Dodgers, depending on which bracket either team ends up in, as this one pops up foul. That means that we have an opportunity to have an Angels-Dodgers matchup if everything goes according to plan. So whatever happens to the Dodgers, if they hang on to, or to the Angels, if they hang on to win, or if they happen to lose, if the same thing happens to the Dodgers, we'll have an all-LA matchup. The Angels are the 2 seed coming into this tournament, so we will be here in Anaheim. That is to happen. And swung on and missed. And Venable goes down on strikes. Put a K in the book here for Joe Thatcher, his first one today. That's 8 for the team. That's number 9 for the team. My apologies. But here's Alexi Amarista looking to move Nelson. Amarista was a victim of one of those 9 team strikeouts back in the 5th. Otherwise, he's grounded out his other 2 times up. Looking to get on base. Maybe even looking for a well-placed RBI. Here's the 0-1. Ooh, fouls that one directly back. 0-2 count. Amarista takes the slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes, man on first. 2 outs here. Joe Thatcher coming in relief for Jered Weaver, looking to close things out. So 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Here's the 2-2 to Amarista. Hits this one into play, and Kendrick will have to make the out for 3. So after an error and a pitching change, the Angels able to close out the inning. It's time to stretch. I know I will. It's 3-2 Angels as they'll look for more runs in the bottom half. Tyson Ross had a admirable pitching performance, lasted 6 innings, but his day is done. Here comes the righty, Nick Vincent, fellow righty. No change to the batting order for the Angels, however. It seems as the designated hitter, Efren Navarro, comes in right on schedule. Tim Stauffer in the bullpen right now, just in case things get sideways for Vincent. Here's the first pitch from Nick, and it is fouled off. fair amount of foul balls have gone over into that part of the crowd, so I'm pretty sure at this point nobody's left out in terms of souvenir baseballs. 0-1, fouled back this time. And on the third pitch, it's a cutter outside of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Efren has grounded out and he is flown out. No, he'll just be looking for a hit here on the bottom of the 7th. Angels looking for some insurance because we've seen here in the Coliseum tournament, no lead is safe. It's been a very good Coliseum tournament. The first game, of course, out of the Eastern region was the Cubs and the Tigers. The Cubs come from behind and get the win there in Detroit. Just an amazing upset there between Chicago and Detroit. And then second game was the Astros and Athletics. That one went 10 with the Astros getting the upset in Oakland. So 2 of the lowlier teams, albeit developing teams, up and coming, getting huge wins. And then the first favorite to win was the Brewers at home off a walk-off home run by Mark Reynolds. This one popped up to Amarista, and he's able to get the out. Amarista's made his share of very good plays pretty much in this entire game. Here's another one of them here. So that'll bring up Chris Iannetta once again. Struck out his second time up. His first time up, he hit a double and then eventually came home. First pitch, he hits it, bounces, collected, and thrown quickly by Vincent with a 1-3 putout. So here's Cole Calhoun. He hit the first RBI of the game. He was the one to bring Chris Iannetta home, but nobody on base now with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And that pitch, 2-seamer veering high for ball 1. The shadows almost completely engulfing the field now, as Angel Stadium is uniquely oriented against the sun. This one is hit in the air and drops into left field. So Calhoun able to keep the inning alive. A bit of a fumble there by Medica, but no effect on the base pass as Calhoun will stay at first. We'll take a look at this on replay. That is the second single for Cole in this game, going back to that RBI single in the 3rd. Mike Trout, his last time up in the 5th inning, was able to get a single and a stolen base as well, but couldn't come out with anything as a pitch or 2 later. Albert Pujols. Oh, this one's traveling left center field. Okay, hits against the wall, and that should be extra bases there for Trout, and it will also be enough for Cole Calhoun to come home. So there's the insurance right there, and it's 4-2 Angels. So look at that again on replay. That'll do it for Nick Vincent. Very short leash there by Bud Black, but Tim Stauffer will come into the game. So Vincent is able but was unable to close out the inning. So now it's up to Stauffer to do so against Albert Pujols. Two-seamer at the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. Two-seamer outside. So a 3-0 count here as Stauffer is struggling against Albert Pujols. But judging by Pujols' career, Stauffer would not be alone in terms of pitchers that have struggled with Pujols. Able to keep the at-bat alive is Stauffer as he throws strike one, 3-1 count to Albert. Trout waiting on second. He was left stranded back in the fifth. And this one will drop into center field, so that mistake won't happen again as this one will come home by Trout. That ball lobbed from center to the pitcher. Like it lobbed up in the air there as it came into the infield. As if the center fielder did not understand the gravity of the situation. But Trout is able to come home, and Pujols is on base with his second RBI of the game. Here's Josh Hamilton, who has an RBI to his name as well, as part of that big third inning. It's 5-2 now, with Pujols on first and 2 outs. And this one hit high in the air, but it will drop into the glove of Venable, and the inning is closed out, but not without the Angels picking up 2 runs. It's 5-2, heading into the top of the 8th. Welcome back to Anaheim. Joe Thatcher able to come into relief and close out the 7th inning. So now it's Joe Smith's turn. We'll see how many more Joes Mike Scioscia can pull out of the bullpen. But for now, it's going to be on Smith to take care of business as the setup man. His first batter will be Jered Weaver. And this one fouled off. It's been an interesting day for the former Yankee up-and-comer, now a Padre up-and-comer, coming here in the other direction for Chase Headley in that big trade. Smith sidewinds this pitch, and it lines out to Freeze for out number 1. So Solarte flies out, strikes out, reaches on a walk, and then he just lines out right there. So like I was saying, an interesting day for Jered Weaver, and it might just be over if the Angels bullpen can close things out. But not if Seth Smith has anything to say about it. Kevin Jepson, another Angel, over in the bullpen. But I'm sure Scioscia's hoping that Houston Street, the former Padre, actually, as he came up the road from San Diego, Scioscia will hope that he'll be able to bring his closer out. Smith puts in a ball, so 1 ball, no strike here to start things off with 1 out, and the base is empty. 5-2 game for the Angels. Angels looking to put this one away. This one hit into play, and Kendrick will round it up and get the out. Kendrick has been all over the place, as you would expect a middle infielder. He has done a very good job. Very little has gotten past him today. So here's Yasmani Grandal, the catcher. He has a single back in the 4th inning, an RBI single. That's been it so far. He's going to see if he can get some offense going here in the top of the 8th. That sinker doesn't have much break to it, finds itself outside for ball 1. As I said before, next game up, the White Sox and the Nationals from Washington, D.C. That will be coming later this week. Stick and stay to the Coliseum Sports Network here on YouTube for that broadcast and its archives. Swing and a miss by Grandal. Another sinker. This one finds its way in the zone. If I'm not mistaken, in the 3 and over a half games that we've done so far, I do believe that Joe Smith is our first sidewinding pitcher that has come out on the mound. You've got to love the sidewinders. This particular sidewinder is behind in the count, 2-1. We'll see if Grandal can hop on this next pitch. He pops it up, so he does, but it will be a hop up to the catcher. for out number 3. So 3 up and 3 down for Joe Smith. We'll see if the Angels can hang on in the bottom of the 8th, and we might see Houston Street coming in the 9th.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for the Padres, number 58.
The day is done for Stauffer, as he was tasked with closing out for Nick Vincent, who struggled with that 3rd out. Now here's Boyer. First pitch to Ibar. A changeup in there for strike 1. The only thing Boyer can do is keep more runs from being scored, as considering that this is an American League home stadium, where there's an AL team as the home team. It's not like he's going to come up to the plate at any point to try to affect the outcome out offensively, but he does give up a hit here to Ibar, and that's a single to lead off the inning. But all Boyer can actually do is just close out this inning and focus on that and hope that his Padres will be able to, well, come up with a 3-run inning in the top of the 9th, perhaps. Lots of changing faces going on in the Padres bullpen, setting up just in case there is a bottom of the 9th. Kendrick fouls this one off. And Ibar stealing second. He's in there by a mile. So now he's in scoring position. Kendrick now has the opportunity, or at least an easier opportunity, to bring home another Angel. But there's a look at it again on replay. Ibar was well in there by the time that the throw was received from Grandal. 1 ball and 1 strike, though, at the plate to Kendrick as he fouls one off. So now he's in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One-two count, man on second. Bottom of the 8th here from Anaheim. Here is the pitch. Curveball veers and lands in the dirt before it gets into the glove. Here's the 2-2. Fouls that one off, keeps it alive. Howie Kendrick, can he bring home Eric Ibar? No, sir. So that's a strikeout there for Boyer. And that's out number 1. Take a look at it on show motion. And you see he did go on the check swing. No appeal necessary. Here's David Freese. Now it's up to him to see if he can bring home Eric Ibar, who stole second, and he's standing there. As soon as we get back to our camera angle, you will see Ibar leading off from the base, ready to come home, put some more insurance on the board for the Angels. Here's the first pitch to Freese. He will take the 4-seamer. Changeup taken this time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Four-seamer outside. Freese has not had to swing his bat yet. He's received good fortune for it. He's ahead in the count 2-1. 1 out and a man on first. 5-2 the score here from Anaheim late. Freese hits right to Solarte. There is out number 2. Efren Navarro stepping back up to the plate. Lined out his last time up. Not the only one to line out to Amarista. David Freese did the exact same thing in the fourth. And Josh Hamilton actually lined to Amarista, who was able to trap it, but was not able to throw it to first in time. First pitch for Navarro is a ball. Boyer looking to close out the inning, retiring 3 straight batters after giving up a single. Here's the 1-0. Four-seamer inner half. 1 ball, 1 strike. And this one hit, caught by Boyer, and that is the bottom of the 8th inning. So Boyer able to close it out, but now the Padres have the tall task of seeing if they can get back into this in the top of the 9th. Houston Street stepping up to the mound to close things out, not for the Padres, who he started the season with, but for the Angels against his former team. So let's see if he can close out the Padres. If he can, it'll be game over. But if the Padres explode here in the 9th and tie or take the lead, we'll have some more baseball here from Anaheim. First pitch swung on and missed by Tommy Medica. Medica today in relief of Carlos Quinton, who went on the DL earlier today. Hits this one into play, gets it past the shortstop, and he's on with a single. I was going to say it's been pretty much boom or bust. He struck out twice, and now he's gotten on base for the 2nd time today. He hit an RBI double back in the 4th. So here's Yonder Alonso, not so successful. And this one hit high in the air, traveling left field. Hamilton trying to get a beat on it at the warning track and caught. And that means Medica's going to have to go all the way back to first. That had the distance, but was just not far enough from the glove of Josh Hamilton. Hamilton's been showing some range today, so very good. Houston Street 2 outs away from getting the W. Or getting the save, rather, from the Angels of getting the W. Chris pops this one up in the air, going down the left field line and into the crowd. Nelson has reached base twice today, but has yet to register a hit. He walked in the 5th inning and reached on an error in the 7th. And check swings the 0-1. Fouls it back. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 0-2. Change up outside. Oh-2 fouled off by Nelson. That'll keep him standing at the plate. Can he turn it fair here on this 1-2? Ooh, pitch inside. So Nelson showing that same discipline that got him the walk against Jered Weaver back in the 5th inning. But he's 2 pitches away from taking his base. Can he survive? He does foul off the 2. Here comes this delivery of the 2-2. And that's inside, a strikeout. First one for Houston Street, and that's out number 2. With a backwards K on that scorecard, the Padres are down to their final out. And here is Jered Weaver. He comes off the disabled list and finds himself in a very key situation. Man on first. Weaver will take the slider. If Weaver can reach, Venable comes up to the plate as the tying run. Improbable but not impossible for the Padres as Weaver will foul that one off. And the 0-2 fouled off. Weaver down to his last strike. Are the Padres heading to the loser's bracket to take on the loser of Minnesota and the Dodgers? Here's this edition of the 0-2. Taken. A changeup just outside, ball 1. Angels fans on their feet. They're restless. They're looking for an out. They want to celebrate a win here in the Coliseum baseball tournament. Inside pitch, sinker, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Angels fans can feel it. Padres fans on the edge of their seat. 2-2, fouled off. Jered Weaver not going down without a fight. Houston Street looking for the save. The 2-2 swung on and missed. And the Angels win. And we move on to the winner's bracket. 2 straight Ks to close out the Angels' victory. We won't need to play the bottom of the 9th. Glad that you could join us today. Turned out to be a good one. Angels win it 5-2. Jered Weaver bringing his ace stuff as always, only giving up those 2 runs in the 4th. And that's it. Street getting the save against his former team. I'm sure that had to hurt for the Padres and had to feel very good for Houston. See if the Angels can bring that sort of magic as they move on to the next round, and we'll see if the Padres can come back out swinging as they head into the loser's bracket. Here's a look at the summary again. Like I said, a great game. 3 runs by the Angels in the 3rd and some insurance in the bottom of the 7th. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not let you know about the top player of the game. Who else would it be? Jered Weaver getting the nod here. He's actually the first pitcher to be the top player of the game. He absolutely deserves it. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings of work. Let's take a look at some of his highlights here as we give him the Topps card treatment. Just another good game for Jered Weaver as his team will move on into the winner's bracket. Thank you for joining me. I'm Raymond Sims with another presentation of the Coliseum Baseball Tournament brought to you by Sims Coliseum. Be sure to check out the website simscoliseum.com. The best site for your coverage of sports, both real and fake. Also, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Next matchup is the White Sox and the Nationals. Be sure to check out the Coliseum Sports Network on YouTube for more information on that one. But until next time, have a wonderful day, everybody. This has been a presentation of Major League Baseball on the Coliseum Sports Network.